The most unbelievable show on television begins right now on Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Tonight on Ripley's. Aerobatics Chad Kirby Chambliss pulls off treacherous maneuvers other pilots wouldn't touch. Now he's risking total disaster, attempting to freeze his plane in midair without stalling the engine and plunging to certain death.
Any kind of a mechanical failure where you're down very low to the ground would be very serious, and it could cause, for me to die.
This man's about to be initiated into the Wild West's strangest society. But to prove his courage, he'll have to gulp down a drink containing a human toe. One he intentionally had chopped off his own foot.
I could be the first to do the drink with my own toe.
Plus, he's a wakeboarding wonder. Watch as tonight's Ripley's Kid puts the pros to shame. We hit the Ripley's Arena for a rockin' slam jam between 10 airborne athletes. And our auditions for America's most unbelievable animals get some serious support from San Francisco's sexiest cheerleaders. Only on Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Hello and welcome to Ripley's. Let's get right to our first story that will make you gasp. See, the thing about airplanes is that they were built to fly like this. Well, you're about to see a pilot attempt to make his plane stop like this.
Kirby Chambliss has mastered some of the toughest aerobatic maneuvers a pilot could possibly perform. But what he's about to attempt today has never been done before and could easily prove deadly. Because believe it or not, Kirby hopes to defy gravity by propelling his plane to a vertical standstill only a few feet off the ground, the lowest plane stall in aviation history. Kirby started flying when he was only 16 years old and hoped someday to become a commercial pilot.
Even before I can remember, I flew with my dad, and as a youngster, he built an airplane, and I helped him build it.
By the time he was 24, he became the youngest pilot ever hired at Southwest Airlines. He quickly rose through the ranks in commercial piloting, but Kirby wanted to take his flying to a new level, training to become a competitive acrobatic pilot. Soon, Kirby was wowing everyone with near impossible maneuvers, like flying upside down within just feet of the ground. And even though he earned the title of International Aerobatics Champion in 1997, Kirby wanted to become untouchable. So to prove his extraordinary skill, at an air show in China, he set his sights on a dangerous flight through a 90-foot wide cave called Heaven's Gate. Kirby clears the cavern with ease, but a mechanical failure sends him crashing into the river below.
I was in a dive, going back down towards the water, and as I went to roll the airplane out, the ailerons locked up, and I was not able to pull out of the dive, and I crashed in the water.
Luckily, the river actually softens the blow and saves Kirby's life. He walks away with only scratches on his face. But Kirby wasn't about to give up. Just 2 months later, he was back in the air, returning to the U.S. Nationals, where he took first place and became captain of the American team. That's when he came up with an aerial maneuver so dangerous, no one had ever attempted it before. While most pilots will only stall their planes thousands of feet in the air so that they have the altitude to recover, Kirby wanted to see how low he could go, even if the low altitude meant sending him to his grave. So he began practicing for an incredible feat he calls the Cobra, because of the way the plane's sudden change of direction resembles the attack position of the deadly snake.
The Cobra is a unique aerobatic maneuver. Right on takeoff, I pull the airplane up to vertical and able to just stop it there just for a brief second when the airplane completely vertical, and it's just, it'll wow you.
For Ripley's, Kirby will attempt the Cobra in a safe desert area and for the very first time on national television.
Any kind of a mechanical failure where you're down very low to the ground would be very serious, and it could cause, for me to die.
Despite the extreme danger, Kirby welcomes the challenge. He approaches the runway and positions the plane. Just 10 feet off the ground, Kirby is finally ready to pull the Cobra. He simultaneously pumps his feet on the rudder and pulls back on the stick. This is the critical moment. Looking at the Cobra frame by frame, as you can see, only the thrust of the propeller is keeping Kirby airborne. Any small mistake could send Kirby crashing to the ground without the altitude he needs to recover. Holding the Cobra for 10 full seconds, Kirby does it and heads victoriously back to Earth.
When you feel at one with a machine and to be able to do things with this machine that other people can't do, I mean, it's a very good feeling.
Believe it.
Aerobatics has World War II to thank for advancing the sport to what it is today. Many tricks evolved from fighter pilot maneuvers used to evade fire or attack the enemy. Now, competitive wakeboarding has been around for about 11 years, and one of the sport's leading innovators of new moves is only 14 years old, which is why he is tonight's Ripley's Kid.
Philip Sovin loves playing football with his friends and hanging out at the lake. But this 14-year-old is also the youngest professional wakeboarder in the world. And believe it or not, he's about to go head-to-head with one of the top athletes in the sport. And you won't believe the tricks he's going to do. Philip has been on the water since he was 6 months old. At the age of 2, he began water skiing. And he was so good that before he even started kindergarten, he was already an avid barefoot skier. That's when Philip's parents noticed that a new water sport had caught his attention.
He was barefooting a lot at like age 5, and wakeboarding was actually just invented then. He tried it and just fell in love with wakeboarding.
By the age of 7, Philip was competing in the 14 and under amateur wakeboard circuit, and he was soon leaving rivals in his wake. Wanting more of a challenge, he decided to try his luck on the pro circuit at only 11 years old. Philip astonished everyone at his first contest, easily outscoring competitors twice his age.
I think the thing that separates Philip from the other wakeboarders is that he likes a challenge. He's challenging himself right now to get to that #1 spot on the podium.
Training as hard as Philip does has left the team with his share of bumps and bruises.
I pull muscles sometimes, and I've torn the tendons in my knee.
But that hasn't stopped this 14-year-old from becoming one of the more innovative riders on the circuit, creating signature moves like the nearly impossible Dum Dum 540, named after his favorite lollipop.
Philip's scary how good this kid is. He puts his mind to it. He'll get the job done. As far as what tricks can he do and can't do, he can do anything he wants.
And in this Ripley's exclusive, Philip is going to unleash his arsenal of maneuvers on IWSF wakeboarding world champ Darren Shapiro.
I saw Philip start riding just a few years ago, and he was just, this tiny little scrawny kid. And, you see a lot of kids get started, but you really know never what to expect, once they get a few years into it.
These two extreme athletes will challenge each other to an old-fashioned duel in a trick demonstration. Whomever does not complete a maneuver or falls loses. And they're off. First, Philip does an air railie. Darren copies it easily. Next, a back roll. Again, Philip completes this move, no problem. Darren tries to turn up the heat with this 360-degree twist. But Philip stays cool and nails it. Now it's Philip's turn to put the pressure on Darren. He sticks a blind railie. Darren tries to match him, but gets too much air and falls hard on the landing. Incredibly, Philip smokes Darren, a wakeboarder twice his age. And Philip isn't stopping there. To prove once and for all how good he is, Philip decides to attempt a near impossible maneuver with the help of his younger brothers. A trick so dangerous that if anything goes wrong, it could put one or all of them in the hospital. Philip actually launches himself into a whirlybird as his brothers wakeboard underneath him. Incredible! And though he's accomplished so much at such a young age, Philip, who the pros have nicknamed Froggy, doesn't look like he's going to be slowing down anytime soon.
Froggy's got this cool ability to just learn any trick that he really wants to do. If he really wants to do it, he'll just go out there and do it.
My plans for the future are probably to try wakeboard as long as I can through college and then just keep on going until hopefully till I'm Darren's age.
Believe it.
Next, Steve White has to down his drink.
Cheers.
If he wants to be accepted into this one-of-a-kind club, a drink that contains a real human toe. One Steve had hacked off his own foot. The Ultimate Ripley's exclusive is next. Plus, be there for one man's inspirational attempt to finish a marathon without his legs. And Barnaby Rue is the world's best boomeranger, but is he accurate enough to split an egg off the top of his own head without splitting open his skull?
If I miss, this could be my head.
Find out if he sets a new Ripley's record or ends up with egg on his face. Next. Stories you can't imagine. People you won't believe. Ripley's Believe It or Not.
A simple worm floating in the bottom of a bottle of tequila does not make for a Ripley story. We've already shown you mice wine and centipede wine, so a human toe cocktail. Well, that may be just what the doctor ordered. Check it out.
33-year-old Steve White is about to drink something most people wouldn't even pick up. That's because Steve's going to gulp down a glass that contains an actual human toe. And believe it or not, the toe Steve will be tasting will be his own. In Canada's Yukon Territory, wedged up against the Alaskan border is a modest mining town called Dawson City. And although the population is only 2,000, over 60,000 tourists flock to the small town every year to participate in the very strange tradition of gulping down a drink containing a real human toe.
Don't think about it, just do it. It will be fine.
This so-called sour toe cocktail was started in 1973 when one citizen found a petrified human toe abandoned in a jar. For years, locals had been putting ice worms in their drinks. So why not a toe? Over time, several locals donated toes to the bar, and the unusual world-famous custom was born.
We have people from all over the world, all over Europe, Russia, Southeast Asia, China, Japan, everywhere.
This morbid tradition of touching dead flesh to your lips earns partakers the title of Veteran of the North, and symbolizes not only having survived the drink, but having survived a complete winter in the freezing Yukon. And unlike the worm in tequila, this is one garnish you don't want to eat for a lot of reasons.
We carry the threat that if you swallow the toe now, you're going to have to give up a toe to replace it.
But this twisted tradition almost came to an end recently when the bar's owner returned from vacation to find his treasured toes missing. He could never have guessed that a man named Steve White, who lived 300 miles away, would keep the tradition alive.
I actually read the article in the local newspaper saying that the one toe they had was missing.
But just how would Steve help save the sour toe cocktail? After being diagnosed with hammer toe, a rare muscle imbalance that caused his small toe to bend, Steve was given two options: a 6-month process to try and repair the damage, or amputation. Hacking off his toe would have him back at work within a couple of weeks. Steve shocked everyone with his decision.
I made the decision to amputate my toe because I had to work for a living, had a young family to support at the time, and missing too much work would have caused great hardships on my family.
And although losing a toe didn't bother him, Steve did make one very unusual request.
Just before we went into the operating room, I asked the doctor to keep the toe for me.
Knowing that tourism is a big boost to the local economy and having an extra toe in his fridge, Steve decides to donate his very own digit to the Sour Toe Cocktail cause. And today, just for Ripley's, Steve has made the journey to Dawson City, not just to deliver the precious pinky toe, but to become the latest participant in this eerie toe tasting tradition. Steve waits eagerly as the bartender pours a shot of soda water. The toe kept in pickling salt to keep it sterile.
Going in the drink?
The bartender gingerly deposits the toe into the macabre mix. After examining the contents, will Steve be able to down his entire drink and let the bobbing digit brush against his lips? And finally, after the last drop flows from Steve's glass, one last farewell touch for his precious toe.
Congratulations. Welcome to the club.
At last, a full-fledged veteran of the North, Steve White is welcomed into the club he helped preserve after literally putting his foot, or at least part of it, in his mouth.
Here at Ripley's, we are all about authenticity. So yes, this is an actual toe from the Yukon Saloon. It's only here on loan until the tourist season begins. Cheers. No.
Ripley's Unbelievable Acts.
Barnaby Roo has a real knack for throwing things. In fact, there's nothing Barnaby loves to throw more than his boomerang. Now, Barnaby is trying to set a Ripley's record by proving just what a good shot he really is. You see, believe it or not, Barnaby will throw a boomerang and attempt to slice an egg right off the top of his head. Created over 20,000 years ago by Australia's Aborigines, the boomerang was originally designed as a one-way weapon. Over the years, adding a curve allowed it to literally turn around in midair and return to the user. But it wasn't until Barnaby's Uncle Ben handed him an old wooden toy that Barnaby would literally get a grip on the sport. For Barnaby, it ignited a lifelong fascination with the physics, precision, and craft of the boomerang.
I was fascinated by boomerangs because they didn't make sense. First of all, you're throwing this thing and it lays over, screams around, comes back and lands in your hands after throwing it hard and vertical.
In just a few years, Barnaby excelled to incredible heights, beating some of the world's best boomerang athletes and being crowned U.S. champ in 1978. Today, a professor of fine arts at New York University, Barnaby continues his dedication to the craft and study of the boomerang. Not only designing his own line of boomerang fever products, but pioneering the one-of-a-kind boomerang catch with his feet.
I am the greatest thrower in the world at a given moment.
But it's Barnaby's latest stunt that has everyone scratching their heads. Barnaby will hurl his boomerang and simply turn his body and wait for the boomerang to come back. If all goes as planned, the boomerang will return with such precision that it will smash the egg right off Barnaby's head. But if Barnaby's calculations are off by even a few inches, he could be struck with a severe blow that would knock him to the ground and send him to the emergency room.
If I miss, this could be my head.
After getting focused with meditation, Barnaby checks the wind direction. It's changing every few seconds, making it especially difficult to accurately launch a boomerang.
Now what you can see is the wind is really dancing. That is not steady.
Using a nail through his baseball cap, some strategically placed chewing gum, and an apple, Barnaby sets the target egg into place.
Before I throw, I like to stop and breathe. Feel what the wind wants to tell me.
The boomerang fires like a bullet and quickly clears the stadium grandstands at lightning speed. Circling back, it's headed right back at him. But the boomerang slices through one side of the apple, missing the egg by an inch. An inch the other way, and it would have been a direct strike to his head. Despite the close call, Barnaby's ready to try again. The wind is seriously affecting every throw, but Barnaby is convinced that he can pull it off. He regains his concentration, and here he goes. It circles and approaches like an arrow looking for its mark.
Oh, God!
And this time it finds it. A direct hit and an incredible sight as Barnaby Rue sets a new Ripley's record, becoming the first man to strike a target on his head with a boomerang.
Now that is exciting.
Don't budge. The 49er cheerleaders get ready to root on the Bay Area's most peculiar pets. From these synchronized Frisbee dogs to the world's only butt surfing mutt to a dog that actually came back from the dead. As Ripley's search for America's most unbelievable animal hits the streets of San Francisco. You're watching Ripley's Believe It or Not.
When one of our producers first pitched a story about a guy training for the Los Angeles Marathon, it didn't really sound like a Ripley story. But after you meet Bob Wieland, you'll understand why it's nothing short of unbelievable.
Every morning, you can find Bob Wieland here at Arcadia High School's gym, putting the football team through the paces.
That's it! Beautiful, beautiful!
Now he's training for the LA Marathon. But Bob is doing it differently than anyone in history. Believe it or not, he's running this race on his hands. In high school, Bob was one of the best ball players in the nation, and he had his sights set on going pro. But all of those dreams were put on hold when he was drafted to serve in the Vietnam War.
I thought I'd do my 2-year tour, sign that pro contract, and be on my way to the major leagues, but things changed quite a bit when I found out I was going to end up in the middle of the jungles of Vietnam, and it didn't take me too long to figure out what the grim reality of war, what it was all about.
Bob had hoped to escape war unscathed, but that was not to be. On June 14, 1969, his life changed forever when Bob stepped on a landmine. All he remembers is waking up in a hospital bed.
I lifted up the sheets and I go, what in the world? And then I noticed I had no legs. And the nurse then at that time came up to me and said, she said, you got hit about 5 days ago.
While such a traumatic accident would have devastated most people, the Vietnam vet remained upbeat.
The legs are gone, so I'm not into having a pity party. The legs are gone. You know, you got to pick up the pieces, if you will, and press on in life.
Soon, Bob was impressing everyone with his amazing upper body strength. After figuring out that prosthetics only slowed him down, Bob threw himself into the sports he loved, like weightlifting.
I rigged up this bench that maybe was 2 or 3 inches wider to give me a little more stability, and I took a weightlifting belt and wrapped it around my stump so I wouldn't be doing a 300, 400, 500-pound cartwheel, and all I wanted was an opportunity. Just, hey, give me a shot.
Incredibly, Bob was soon winning titles, becoming a 4-time record holder in bench press. And while it's possible to lift weights without legs, Bob wants to push his body even further, attempting to complete the Los Angeles Marathon on his hands. His wife of 27 years believes he has what it takes.
The thing that drives my husband basically, I think, is he likes a good challenge. He's out there doing what he does to show them that you can do it and it can be done.
Bob's determined, even creating his own training program to prepare for this challenge of a lifetime. Hitting the track with special gel-padded handles to swimming laps in the pool, even riding his bike. Bob needs to be in peak physical condition for the big day. Bob hopes others will be inspired by him and push themselves just as hard.
I always tell the other runners when they pass me, I say, buddy, your legs got to feel better than my arms. And somehow that motivates them to keep going. Because if you think your legs are tired, you'll never imagine what my arms feel like. Here we go.
Finally, after months of prepping, race day arrives, March 2nd, 2003. Bob makes his way up to the starting line,
Start your splits.
about to attempt what no other man has ever tried. With a special send-off hours before the rest of the runners, Bob makes his way down the streets of Los Angeles. His powerhouse arms supporting his body, it is a truly moving sight. Along the course, people gather to watch. Bob's pace is slow but steady. Although he's being passed by competitors with legs, Bob keeps his focus. What takes most runners about 4 hours to finish may take Bob more than a week. By day, he pumps his arms along the pavement with his specially made hand shoes. At night, he's still on course. His bed, a mini trampoline where he sleeps under the stars. Each day, Bob continues on. After 48 hours of excruciatingly hard work, a safety team, including 2 masseuses, 1 for each arm, help Bob stretch his cramped muscles. This brazen athlete has traveled 10.5 miles. The hours turn into days. Bob remains optimistic, constantly psyching himself up for the grueling crawl ahead. And by the end of day 3, he's over halfway home. While most runners hit the wall after 20 miles, Bob's unbelievable perseverance allows him to press on. Finally, 173 hours and 45 minutes after embarking on his difficult journey, approximately 50,000 painstaking strides later, this amazing athlete crosses the finish line, showing the world that sheer willpower can work wonders.
How did I get from point A to point B? It's got to be a miracle.
Due to the repetitive pounding and compressing of muscles, the average marathon runner loses about 1/4 of an inch in height during the course of the race.
Still ahead, the NBA's got nothing on these guys. You'll flip when you see these acrobatic basketball players bounce and spin their way to the ultimate slam dunk showdown, straight from the Ripley's arena.
Next.
And we check in on the cheerleaders, checking out the contestants in our search for America's most unbelievable animal. Next. The strangest pets in the nation turn out as Ripley searches coast to coast for America's most unbelievable animal.
Animals have always been a big part of Ripley's, and tonight is no different as we continue our search for the most unbelievable animal in America. From Alligator Alley in Florida to the snake-infested South to horses and buffalo roaming the western frontier. Tonight we're holding auditions in the city by the bay, San Francisco, California.
Animal auditions in San Francisco wouldn't be complete without inviting a few cheerleaders from the 49ers football team to sit in as celebrity judges. And the city by the bay had its share of amazing pets, ranging from a pup with questionable table manners to a bottom-surfing dog. Some acts were cheesy.
I'm Dan. This is my dog Max. And believe it or not, he likes to eat cheese and crackers. Max, dinner for dogs? Turn around, buddy. The ladies really like it. They think it's funny.
Others took the usual Frisbee tricks to a whole new level.
My name's Herb Hennigan, and these are my spinning Frisbee canines. I have a synchronized team of Frisbee dogs. I'll do the only four-way throw ever accomplished. Nobody's ever done a four-way throw. Sonny, top dog. Sonny boy. Son, Sonny down. Yep. Oh. The only synchronized team in the world.
And this little pooch introduced us to the sport of butt surfing.
My name is Sandy, this is Tater Tot, and we're here because she's the only dog in the world that can butt surf. Butt surfing is basically dragging your butt on the floor.
But the dog that stole the judges' hearts was a pit bull mix named Doja, who was hit by a car, shot in the head, left for dead, and against all odds, survived. This is her incredible story. Louetta Mallard and her dog Doja lived a quiet life in Clear Lake, California. That is, until a recent sequence of events almost tore their peaceful world apart. It all started when Louetta let Doja outside one day.
I let her out to go to the bathroom one morning, and I guess she decided she was going to climb up the corner of the fence and out.
When Louetta went to let Doja back in, the canine was nowhere to be found. And when she heard a gunshot, Louetta couldn't help but think her best friend might be in serious trouble.
Usually she always responds to my calls, and when she didn't respond, I knew something was wrong. I didn't want to get shot, but I didn't want my dog to be out there either.
Louetta ran down the street toward the sound of the gunshot. But before she could reach the scene, a neighbor delivered some devastating news.
My neighbor was running towards me at the same time, yelling, "They just shot your dog. The cops just shot her."
Doja had been hit by a car, and the police decided to put the poor dog out of her misery. Unable to get any information about where Doja was taken, Louetta went home brokenhearted and certain she would never see her four-legged friend again. Doja's body was taken to the city shelter where she was placed in a freezer. 2 hours passed until an employee opened up the freezer only to get the shock of his life.
When Animal Control opened the freezer door and looked down into the freezer, Doja was sitting up staring at him, still alive.
Doja was quickly rushed to the vet, and Louetta hurried to be by her side.
They had her on an IV. She had the large cut where they had taken the bullet out. She had the entry wound in her head, which was a big bloody mess, and they had her very sedated.
The vets removed the bullet from her head and bandaged her wounds. 2 weeks later, Doja was well enough to go home to a thankful Louetta. Incredibly, the only lasting effect from Doja's terrifying day is some hearing loss. But the handicap doesn't get Doja down. And after all she's been through, Louetta can't help loving her persevering pooch all the more.
It's incredible. It is. She's got, like they say, a cat has 9 lives. Well, she's had 3. She survived the car hitting her. She survived the bullet through the head. And she survived the freezer for 2 hours. She's incredible. She is. She's just absolutely amazing.
The cattle call across America will continue next week.
The Ripley's Arena is rocking. Can these somersaulting slam dunkers bounce their way into the history books? Watch them battle it out as tonight's Ripley's Challenge explodes with action. Next.
Tonight's Ripley's Challenge pits not 2 men, but 2 teams against each other in a slam dunk contest that will make you flip. Well, at least the players flipped. Let's go to the Ripley's Arena to check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's Ripley's Challenge. Introducing tonight's competitors for the forward flip slam dunk competition. All the way from Houston, Texas, please welcome Team Aerial Assault. with Captain Terrell Smith, Greg Muller, Justin Bailey, and Kurt Johnson.
We're a very cohesive unit, and we got years of experience behind us. We're all professional guys doing what we have to do out here, and the other team, they're going down.
And their competitors from Oakland, California, Team Showtime. With Captain Joseph Gibby, Jesus Elazar, Eddie Johnson, and Alan Anderson.
I have a gymnastics background, and my teammate here also has a gymnastics background, but the other two teammates are just gifted in the art of acro slam that we're going to be doing here tonight, so I feel absolutely confident.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tammy Vallejos, your Ripley's referee, who will be officiating tonight's competition.
May the best team win. You guys have 1 minute to warm up before the Ripley Challenge begins.
In tonight's competition, the competitors will sprint down a 60-foot runway, forward flip, and slam dunk. The team that completes the most slam dunks in 60 seconds wins tonight's competition.
The message we're going to send to the other team tonight is that we're for lethal weapons, and we all come together to form one mass destruction.
Watch out, here we come.
The clock is set at 1 minute. The balls are in place. The players are lined up. Gentlemen, get ready. Your Ripley's challenge begins at the sound of the whistle. Coming down the stretch. Pick it up, guys. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Competitors stand by as we confirm the official count. Ladies and gentlemen, the results are in. The final count for the most forward flip slam dunks in 1 minute. Team Aerial Assault, a total of 13 slam dunks. Team Showtime, the winner, 17 slam dunks.
Well, we went out there, we were confident, completely cool. Took our time, went through it, did it as safe as possible, came out on top, 17 in. We are so just psyched out about how everything went.
Let's give it up for Team Showtime. Tonight's Ripley's Challenge winner.
Team Showtime missed breaking a new world record by only 3 baskets. Don't go away.
Still ahead, Dean straps on the amazing high-tech backpack that could literally save your life. Plus, you won't believe the bodily medium one artist used to paint this macabre presidential portrait. The spine-chilling details when we rummage through the Ripley's vault. Next. You're watching Ripley's Believe It or Not.
This is no ordinary backpack. It can literally save the life of a person caught in an avalanche. This unique bag is designed to keep a skier floating on top of the snow as it settles. To avoid being buried alive, simply pull this cord And in about 2 seconds, the airbags are deployed. Statistics show that approximately 2/3 of buried avalanche victims are recovered dead, while 90% of non-buried victims survive. Check this out while I figure out how to deflate this thing.
Enter Robert Ripley's archives.
Robert Ripley, leave it or not. Leave it or not.
The year is 1952, and millionaire Howard Hughes is on hand in Culver City, California, for the unveiling of his latest creation. It's a massive 14-ton chopper called the Flying Crane, and it's powerful enough to carry 100 passengers. Gail Moore is at the controls for the inaugural flight, and he finds the mammoth helicopter easy to control, despite its humongous size. Unfortunately, the Flying Crane's hungry engine gobbles up too much fuel, keeping the cost-inhibiting contraption from being mass-produced. But not before applying its aerodynamic advances to future rotor-winged aircraft.
Leave it or not.
The Ripley's vault is where some of the strangest artwork in the world is stored. Take this portrait of President George W. Bush, for instance. The artist's name is Mahesh Yadav, an Indian pacifist. He paints world leaders and then he sends them the finished work as an appeal for world peace. But what makes him believe that he can get the attention of these powerful politicians? Well, it's not necessarily his ability to render their likenesses, but what he uses for paint. His own blood. Unbelievable? Believe it.
Only those with the guts.
All right, let's do this.
Win the glory. Fear Factor. Back-to-back episodes. Tonight starting at 7. Only on Chiller.
If it's dead, but it's still moving, definitely don't kiss it. Chiller Zombie Week every night starting at 7. All leading up to the Chiller premiere of George A. Romero's Survival of the Dead.
Oh, I got a big one.
Zombie Week starts tomorrow at 7. Only on Chiller. Scary good.